All right. I'm going to be covering and reviewing The Call of the Wild. This is the Harrison Ford version here, book-wise. I usually don't like the movie cover versions of books, just because it kind of, I'm a fan of the original artwork of books and all that. I think those should kind of stay as they are and should always be available to be bought, because I like the original aesthetic of a book. A book stands on its own as its own media, its own art form, its own craft. But regardless, I think it's a nice book. I like the composition of the cover, of the poster, and all that. I won't be going over the movie because I've reviewed the movie on my podcast, but basically, the gist of it is, Buck here, he gets stolen from his house, his master's house, and he gets kind of sold into a kind of a kind of like a dog. What do they call those things? The dog, a chain of dogs. I forgot the name of it. But he gets sold into to be a driving dog. For lack of a better phrase. And he has to kind of assimilate with the other dogs, and there's some fighting back and forth, and he ends up winning against the alpha dog eventually, and the masters take notice of this. But prior to this, he gets beat up, a bit by his new masters, but he befriends one of them, and he ends up respecting Buck because he's such a tough dog. And eventually, I'm really doing the broad strokes here. Eventually, Buck gets either sold off or rescued by this guy, John. But that's towards the end of the book. Most of the book is kind of Buck's struggles to assimilate with the other dogs and become and embrace his instincts, and to stand up for himself and to find a way for himself amid the chaos of being a driver dog or a sled dog, or however you say it. And he becomes respected, and I forgot if he gets sold or something happens to the crew. Somebody gets shot, and John Thornton here becomes his new master, takes him in, and a richer guy tries to buy him off. He's like, "Don't you dare!" And they end up having a bond, just like in the movie, and they do some, they go. I think there's a scenario where John gets swept up in the river, and Buck has to kind of go out and save him, and then they gotta save Buck, and he kind of helps to save some lives there. But make no mistake, this is a violent book. All right, this is not the Disney book. It's a Disney movie, but they cleaned it up quite a bit. This little whippersnapper, he's cutting throats. He's going after the jugular, taking people out. And I read this book before, but it had been so long, and I remember it being a lot more violent. And I don't remember there's like a scene in, again, I don't want to compare the movie too much, but you can't help but to do that. There's a spirit dog or a spirit wolf that's always howling that he's chasing. Well, I don't think there's much of that in here. towards the very, there is at the very end though. I didn't even catch. Maybe I missed the foreshortening, I'm sorry, the foreshadowing. But that isn't as prominent in the book, at least not till the end. And spoilers, at the end he shacks up with Jon, and they're going around, going on little hikes and stuff, and it's nice. But then a bunch of Indians show up, and there's a big Indian raid, and poor Jon here gets taken out, and Buck finds out, and he tears into the throats of the Indians, and to defend himself and his master. And after that he becomes feared. He becomes like a dog of legend, and he kind of fades into myth because he's such a great, strong, fierce dog, almost like a Cujo, almost to Cujo levels, but a little bit more, but saner, And this has a bunch of photos. It's raining outside, but it's got a bunch of photos from the movie, which is fine. It's just fine. Take the bookmarks out of there. But I like the format of this book because it's easy to read. Double spaced. It's not all tight in there. I think the old version of Call of the Wild I had, all the lines were, and I had the children's version. The lines were probably closer together. And I think the last time I read it, I was probably, in 8th grade or something. So it was overdue for a read. But it reads pretty easily. There's just the right amount of description and dialogue to where I don't get bored. There's a few things that some chapters are worth kind of rereading. And the book's worth a reread. If you haven't read it in a while, give it another read because it's the hero's journey all the way. And I like how this is set up. Nice big chapter, Roman numerals, and all that. So I do like the page aesthetic, and the formatting of the book makes it a lot easier to read. And the words are nice and big. I'm getting older, but I can kind of see what the older people are saying with the words being too small. They try to pack too much small type into books these days. A 6-point font, it seems like. But yeah, give it a read. This is a 10 out of 10 book right here. You get the complete hero's journey. Let me get this out of here. And it's violent. It's very violent. Way more so than Disney movie, And but you get the real stuff here. You get the real nitty gritty. And the Disney movie's really good. I think, considering the dog CG in the movie, I think the stories, the performances are good. But they changed the ending in the movie. In the movie, the villains, it becomes like they turn on Jon because they want the gold, which makes sense for the era a bit. But in the book, it seems to be the Indian tribe, like just a wild Indian tribe that goes, that ends up just taking Jon out. So yeah, I'll probably reread this. This is one of those books you reread once in a while because it's an easy read, but there's still stuff in that you can pick up on each read, I think. So it's layered. And again, it's, there's just enough description and detail. And the ending is poetic. Buck, I almost said Buick. Buck goes off and he, leads the pack towards the end of the pack of wolves that he runs with. And they don't hammer down on he really gets with this other wolf and they have a family and pups and all that. That's not really in here, or at least I didn't catch it. It's just kind of like he runs with the wolves and he howls at the end because he's just sad over his master dying, but he's also howling because he's embracing this new life. And yeah, Jack London really got inside the head of the dog. So it really, I think it would be a challenge. How do you tell a story from an animal's perspective that we can relate to? But by golly, he does it. Somehow, it feels like he's teetering between the narrator telling you what the thoughts are and the actual animal telling you what it's feeling. So he's kind of going back and forth on that, and he does it. Somehow he pulls it off. So that's incredible. That's quite a feat in itself. So yeah, I mean, there's more I could cover on here. This is kind of general, kind of a short review. But The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Yeah. So great. So great. If you like the movie and, check out the movie. I think there's an older version of the movie out too that was done a while back. Check that one out as well with real dogs. But yeah, 1903. That's when he wrote this, Jack London. Thanks for watching. Keep reading.